was there another shooter that helped Thomas Crooks on July 13th at that Butler rally? Today I'm going to be able to clear up a lot of this for you and shed some light on the second shooter theory with two important locations, the water tower and the AGR building. I'm going to be able to show you some of the evidence that was found by one congressman and hopefully just give you the facts here, right? So you can kind of clear some of these things up, because the more we're lied to, the more the facts are deceptively withheld from us, the more theories are going to come out, and rightfully so, because nobody trusts any of these three-letter agencies as it is. So anyways, hopefully this will give you some answers into one of the biggest theories that we've been looking at since the very beginning. Now, of course, I want to hear from y'all as well, whatever your opinion may be on this video and other topics related to this. If you like what I do, consider subscribing. Let's go and get into it. Now, the first one I want to talk about is the lesser known of these two theories, and that is the second story of the AGR building. There was actually what looked like a muzzle flash that appeared from the window, or one of the windows, that was directly below Crooks's position on top of the roof. Now, Congressman Higgins is very well respected when it comes to this matter. Obviously, he's on the task force to find out the truth of what happened. So if there's anybody that you can trust in the information that's given here, I think he is one of the guys for sure that you can trust this information. So what he did is he went and he talked to the person that works in that office, and they have for many years. And what she said is that the window where the supposed muzzle flash came from has never been opened. So what they're thinking is that either it was digital fabrication, right? Somebody just put that flash there when they uploaded the video, or it was the actual flash from an iPhone that kind of bounced off of the glass at that time, or was maybe a reflection in the glass as they were shooting that footage. So he said there's absolutely no evidence to confirm that there was a second shooter below Crooks's position. So I feel very confident, like I said, in Congressman Higgins and his reporting and all that kind of stuff. And I feel good to say that there probably wasn't a second shooter there, but what about the water tower? Because this seems more likely, to me anyways. So the first thing to point out is that there were two local cops that were at the base of the tower. They left their post, but it was only within the last hour right before the shooting. Now, an important thing to note is that the first 25 feet are accessed by a ladder, but that ladder had not been dropped at all that day. So it kind of works like an extension ladder, right? That first 25 feet, they keep it up that high so nobody can actually just, climb up the water tower unauthorized. So if that never moved, Higgins basically said that he would have to be some kind of crazy SWAT team operator, unlike anybody's ever seen, to be able to ascend 25 foot without a ladder in place at all. He said it would pretty much be impossible. But let's assume that he did. Then you have another 75 feet to the catwalk, which isn't so much of an issue. And then, by his own words, you have the precarious ladder that kind of goes up the side of the dome that will take you to the top of the vent. Now, admittedly, the top of the vent right there, and the shadow we see is kind of to the left of that vent, that's going to be the only area where there would be a clear line of sight to both Crooks and to President Trump. Remember, this tower is about 100 yards from the AGR building, by the way. So if we're doing a little bit of quick math, it'll probably put him maybe, it'd be less than 300 yards from the stage. But you could not get a clear line of sight from the catwalk itself because of the trees. Some of the same trees, or at least one of the same trees, that impeded the vision of the first counter sniper team. I think that was counter sniper team North. So basically what he's saying is that it would have been a pretty incredible task for this guy to traverse that first 25 feet without a ladder and then be able to climb up the side of that dome without being noticed, and get up to that vent area. That thing looks sketchy, by the way. So I just want to point that out as well. Not saying it's totally impossible, but there's a lot of if, ands, and what ifs and special operators, man. That's gonna take a lot. So I think that helps clear the water tower up. Maybe not for all, but it will help to clear it up for some. And again, I have no reason to not believe him. Now, he did want to traverse all the way up to the top, at least to the catwalk, I assume. But the waterworks people were a little bit hesitant about letting him go up there. I guess they need safety equipment and all that. They did agree to do it, just at a later date. Again, just kind of reading the report, they were talking about the safety precautions primarily. So we'll just have to take them out of the word there. But again, that sliding, that first 25 feet is really important, I think. And the ladder never being dropped, I think, is a really good indicator that it was just a shadow or something that was up there. Again, when I first watched it, I was like, you know, it does look like a person, kind of. But I think if it really was a person, we wouldn't have to make these kind of what ifs, or, you know, is that a person? Is it not? The footage was super grainy. Of course, nobody was really concentrating on the tower at the time anyway, so I do understand that. But I just don't think, from reading this report, just my personal opinion, and knowing how determined Higgins is to get to the bottom of this, I don't believe that the AGR building nor the water tower were the source of any second shooter, if there was one. So, was there a second shooter? In my opinion, nothing here points to another shooter. We know the sound signatures. We know there was 3 shooters. Crooks, the local SWAT team officer that was on the ground that probably saved a lot of people's lives. We talked about that in the last video. That's a really good one too if you want to check that one out. And then the counter sniper who incapacitated Crooks, right? We know there was a total of 10 shots that were fired. Now, that's not to say that nobody helped Crooks, right? I want to make sure I distinguish that from somebody physically being there with him to somebody that could have potentially helped him on the outside. And again, distrust in the FBI is at an all-time high. It's all people have always not trusted them, and I think for good reason. Also, distrust in the Secret Service, though, is definitely at an all-time high. And a 20-year-old, smart as he may have been, still, you're telling me beat out a $3 billion agency. By the way, the Secret Service had access to radios. Butler County local, or ESU, they brought radios that were available in the morning for Secret Service so they could all be on the same network. Secret Service never picked them up. I'd really like to know why they never secured those radios, because then maybe they would have been monitored. Maybe we could hear some of the recordings. Maybe we could hear what they were actually saying. If they really wanted to kind of dispel a lot of the conspiracies, that would be helpful in us being able to hear what Secret Service was saying. What was command saying? That is something I think, I don't know if we'll ever get that, because as far as what Secret Service is saying is that none of those transmissions were recorded. So they're just lost in thin air. But I'd really love to have those, because I think that would open up a lot, or answer some more questions. But I'll continue to stay on top of this, man. And of course, I want to hear your opinion. What do you think about the second shooter theory? Do you think there was somebody there? Or do you think there was somebody maybe helping him on the outside? Whatever your opinion may be, leave that down below. If you like what I do, consider subscribing. See you in the next one. And as always, hold them down.